Hello everybody, my name is Joy and welcome back to Paper Drumpf. Now before I start, I have to announce that the project will be renamed Supremacy. So if you want to know more about that, about how and what and why, you can check out the link in the description to the Greenlight Steam page where all the information will be displayed. So let's continue with chapter 4, The Root. Save and continue. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. You once saw a man burned alive. It wasn't a real one, it was made of wicker and wood, kindled after a display of fireworks. America has the 4th of July, her Independence Day, back on your brief trip. Back when you had time for vacations, you discovered that once a year the United Kingdom celebrates the execution of a traitor centuries ago by burning his effigy again and again and again. You think of this as the crowd surges towards the stage. As the mob begins to panic. After the protester called Drumpf a tyrant, after he set fire to the American flag, the flames caught and spread in the chaos that followed, along seating, along banners, along people. It did not spread for too long, but still the crowd tried to get away. Still they stamped in their fear. The idea had been rooted in the American heart, and there it would grow. That liberals could be violent too, that a flag burner could try to murder a crowd. Drumpf watches them as the sun sets. Security guards have already flocked to the stage to stop the invasion, as Drumpf supporters attempt to get to safety from the crush and the swell. Get Drumpf off the stage, enact emergency plans to save crowd. Yes, by the way, this is an added feature. That is different from the demo, the shaky text, and I think it's a really nice touch. Get Drumpf off the stage, enact emergency plans to save crowd. Oh my god. What was my job again? Well, there's people already flocking to the stage, so I might want to save the crowd first. Your issue commands for police, fire and ambulance crews to be deployed at all exits, and all gates to be opened for orderly processions to exit. But even as you do, something begins to happen. You see your colleagues staring out at the stage and up at the monitor. You move forward, pushing past the assembled gaping mouth breathers in the wings. Your phone begins to vibrate in your pocket, but you ignore it. You move towards Drumpf, and as you step onto the stage, you see it. You see what Drumpf sees. You see the horror, the wonder, the glory of people, and of how people can be used. It was a momentary hesitation, but it is already too late. Drumpf steps forwards towards the crowd, his guards parting like the sea. The crowd calm a little as they begin to notice what is happening, but only a little, only those closest. And then Drumpf does it. He reaches a hand down, and with a smile, with a grin, with glistening eyes, he begins to try and pull a woman up. It will be considered one of the most iconic photographs of the early 21st century. He doesn't have to finish helping her up. The crowd helps, the guard helps, and as they all begin to help, Drumpf mutters something to the person he helped, but no one hears it. Drumpf eventually sees you lingering near the side of the stage. His face darkens and heads over. "Let's go," he says, without missing a step. He walks a little ahead of you. He hardly looks at you, hardly speaks to you. "That was brave of you, sir, or we need to get you to safety, sir." Let's compliment him, why not? He says nothing. A few minutes later, you reach the cars. A guard opens the door for Drumpf. He gets in, but as you move to follow him, the door is shut in front of you. He drives off without you. Oh. You go back to the building. Should I have helped him? You go back to the building to retrieve a few things, quickly, shaking a little as you do. Your bag is on your desk where you left it. You stash your iPad inside and go. Another driver takes you away. It takes a few minutes to get past the police cordon, and then you're out onto the open road. Try to phone Drumpf, send Drumpf a message or do nothing. Better send a message. I mean, after all, that's my job, right? You send Drumpf a message, asking what the plan is. No answer comes, you put your phone away and tap your fingers on the seat next to you. You look out at the road. After a while, you take a book from your bag. You read a little, guiding your fingers across its worn brown pages. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately. To front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear, nor did I wish to practice resignation, unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swath and shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. You think back to a year ago when you first met Drumpf. You think of what he said about us all being animals, laughing at each other until we die. You think of the way he fired Gary. Did he do that to look after you, to stick up for you in the face of a creep? Why would that even make sense for a man like him, who said the sexually harassed should just quit? He cares about you, whatever they say about him, he cares. Was it the power of being able to destroy him just like that? Oh, okay, I thought this was an option as well. Who said the sexually harassed should just quit? He cares about you, or it was the power of being able to destroy him just like that? Oh my, still attempting to remain neutral, but it's becoming harder and harder, and I'm honestly beginning to question as to why I want to remain neutral, but... It was the power. Whatever he did, it was nothing to do with you. You have to remember that. You can't trust him. You're almost back to the city. It is 7 days until the election. It is 7 days until America's destiny. You look down at the book, at the work of your namesake. You flick through and think about your childhood. This is one of the only things you have left. You look down and listen to it. There are 1,000 hacking at the branches of evil, to one who is striking at the root. And not till we have lost the world do we begin to find ourselves. End of chapter 4. Wow, I love that one. I really did. I love the way that was written. Wolves. Save and continue. Okay, I think I'm gonna do about 1 or 2 chapters per video from now on. You are 10. You are heading through the woods with your dog near your side, harassing rabbits and squirrels. Here boy, come on Alfie. Here girl, come on Gizmo. Oh, do I get to choose? Okay. Well, Shifa is a border collie and that kind of looks like a border collie, so I'm gonna go with that. Hey girl, come on Gizmo. Gizmo doesn't obey. She never obeys. Go and get Gizmo or call her again? Well, you're not gonna catch up to that dog, so you might as well just call her again. Nothing. Go and get Gizmo. You head into the trees where your dog is slithering all over the foot of a trunk. She looks up at you, panting, pleased with herself. She is a good girl. Who's a good girl? No, I'm not gonna call her stupid. Who's a good girl? You bend down to stroke her and she rushes up to you, bouncing her front paws up to your shoulders and wagging her tail excitedly. You continue down the trail. One of your friends saw a wolf out there, so they said. You want to go find it. They said you'd be too chicken, but you're not. You arrive at the brook. Well, you're not chicken, you're fairly stupid. The water didn't flow much at the time of the year. You just hop right across, and Gizmo does the same. You can't find a thing in these woods. Gizmo brings you a stick. Anyway, a big, stupid-looking stick. How can a stick look stupid? Just take the stick. You take the stick from her and hold it up in the air. Tease her a little bit. Come on, do it. You shake it around in the air and Gizmo's head turns with each moment of your arm. She leaps up excitedly occasionally, but eventually remains still, but for her wagging tail. Throw it. You throw it as far as you can across the trees, but it hits one pretty soon. You're not great at this. Gizmo doesn't mind. She never minds. She roots around for it in the grass and comes bounding back with it in no time. You take it from her mouth, place it on the ground and stroke her, telling her what a good girl she is once again. There were no wolves here, your dad said. He told you not to waste your time. You'll show him, or maybe he's right. You'll show him. You continue on. The world was different then. People were different. Even time was strange. You felt it then, as a tangible thing. Each day felt like a meaningful span. Each hour walking beneath those branches, each moment in that autumn lasted an eternity. You lived more between 5 and 20 than you will ever live. The full span of human emotion, of mistakes, of love. You drink a little water from your pack and start heading back. A little while later, you realize you are being followed. It's darker than it was. You pull your backpack over your other shoulder and start walking a little faster. You don't know why you think there's someone here, but you know it. Gizmo stops to sniff a pile of leaves. Come on, Gizmo, or Gizmo, we need to go. Like, that's... Okay, apparently the shivering of the text is supposed to represent the mood of the... Or actually the stress levels or anxiety levels of the character. So that's a nice touch. Come on, Gizmo, or Gizmo, we need to go. Your dog looks back at you briefly, returns again to her leaves. The sun has started to set, its pale fire dancing along the horizon. You hear a twig snap behind you. Turn around or call Gizmo. Oh, what do we do? I don't know, I'm not entirely sure what Gizmo could do, so let's just turn around and face it ourselves. You turn slowly, shaking, shivering. There's a man standing in the trees. It's hard to see him. Hello? He doesn't say anything. Just call Gizmo. You call Gizmo, but she doesn't come. She never obeys. You hear the man's voice in the twilight. Not a smart dog, is it? She's plenty fierce, though. Who are you? Start walking away. I'm not gonna start threatening him. That would be a bad idea. Maybe just walk away. Not very polite to walk away from a stranger, he says. What's your name, anyhow? I'm Abby, or I'm Abigail, or keep walking. I don't know what would be smart in this scenario. I don't like him, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep walking. Reckon your dad must not have raised you right, manners like that? Yeah, that's creepy. That's a creepy thing to say. Gizmo suddenly barks, looking alert to her right. Before you can say anything or do anything, she runs off into the woods and you are alone. I don't want any trouble. I need to get home. So do I, he says, taking a cigarette from a pack. He lights it, his flame dancing in the growing dark. Wait here for Gizmo or stop walking away. Oh my god, I don't want to lose my dog. That's a difficult one, God. You wait for Gizmo, and as you do, the man starts to walk towards you. He's old, like your dad. He's dirty. He's got a great big brown beard and a cap, and he's coming towards you, smiling. You hear barking, and then he's there. Gizmo comes bounding out from the trees, panting and wagging her tail at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and leaps up at you to say hi. Good girl, Gizmo, good girl. Come on, Gizmo, we got to go. There's someone else. There's someone in front of you, coming right towards you, swinging a rabbit in their arms. It's a kid, just like you. Hey, Dad, she says past you. I got one. She looks at you and grimaces. Who is this? I'm Abby. Pleased to meet you, you say. And she thinks you're really cool and amazing. And that's all that comes out of your mouth. You feel a little sick. You just keep staring at her. You have to stop staring at her. You'll tell this story to a lot of people. The story of how you met. You did chat to her and her awkward dad. You found out they just moved out there and that they're based over near town, but thought they'd come out here to get to know the woods. You found out she lost her mom too, but it wasn't like with yours. She didn't leave, she just had cancer. They give you and Gizmo a ride home. And you promise you'll see her around in town. You walk up to the drive, Gizmo running ahead. The front door is open, unlocked. You will think a lot about this later. Right now, you just feel confused about things, about what you're feeling. You enter your home. Dad? He's just sitting there, staring at the screen. There is smoke. There are shots of ambulances, of fire trucks, of screaming people. Dad, what is... Dad? Gizmo heads over to your dad, rubbing her nose against his hand. Not now, he says. Gizmo continues, climbing up a little into the chair. You watch your dad hit her. Oh my god. You cry out as Gizmo winces and runs off into the other room. But then you see it happen. Out there. Hundreds of miles and a few feet away. Someone jumps from a building. Dad? Another one just hit, the presenter says, as the footage repeats from the morning. Something else just hit a very large plane. A plane has flown into the second tower. Oh my. I remember that, obviously everybody kind of remembers that as well, but I remember being small and seeing that on the news as well. End of chapter 5. Chapter 6, the debate. Okay, I'm gonna leave that for the next episodes, but oh my, that is kind of relatable, I think, at least for, people my age, I guess. I was very small when that happened. I wouldn't remember my exact age, but I remember my parents, watching TV, and I tried to, talk to them, but they were like, shh, no, just not now, girl, not now, Joy. This is important, this is something bad happening. And that was something so strange, because I obviously I did not quite understand what was going on, but later on when you realize that, it's like, wow, this is going to be in the history books. This is something that people are going to learn about for generations, and it's so odd. But anyway, I'm going to end this episode here. Make sure to check out the link in the description if you're interested in this game yourself. You can check out the Steam Greenlight page and vote if you're interested. There will be more information about the game there, as well as to why they changed the title and about the game in general. It will tell you a little bit more what to expect. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!